Hello again, welcome back to Euronews Tonight. Scientists are warning of a ghastly future of mass extinction, declining health and climate disruption upheavals. In a report for Frontiers in Conservation Science, the 17 experts say people still haven't grasped the urgency of biodiversity and climate crises. The paper warns that climate-induced mass migrations, more pandemics and conflicts over resources will be inevitable unless urgent action is taken. Well, joining me to discuss this is Tom Oliver, who's a professor of applied ecology at the University of Reading in the UK and the author of The Self Delusion, the surprising science of how we are connected and why that matters. Hello there to you. Many thanks for joining us. So how deluded are we? Is it really as ghastly as these scientists say?
Well, Isabella, it's frightening, I know, but I think the report is credible. We often hear about these threats individually, biodiversity loss, climate change, but of course they interact, and that can lead to, some real problems. Just as an example, deforestation can cause climate change, but it can also lead to the increased risk of pandemic diseases, wildlife diseases emerging. And then again, that causes economic shocks, which impact our ability to deal with climate change. So all these threats are kind of intertwined.
So it's kind of like a perfect storm of threats, and the reports are saying the report's authors are saying they're not calling for surrender. They're actually saying this is a bit of a cold shower. But realistically, when we see summit after summit, we hear pledge after pledge, do you think real action, is going to take place that could potentially reverse this?
I think we need to see action. I think we can't just rely also on decision makers, policymakers. We're all responsible and we all have our part to play. So I think we need to be cautious and not neglect that responsibility. Of course, there's gaps in our knowledge, but often we know what we need to do, and we just need to address the lock-ins in our mindsets and the way our institutions are run to try to overcome this.
It seems a little unfair to kind of put some of the burden of blame on individuals when ultimately it is up to global leaders really to make the real change. But if you are saying that it is up to us individuals, what can we do really to make enough of an important change to get us back over the other edge of this tipping point?
So I think, we are constrained by institutional factors and the way our political systems work, the way our economic systems. But if you think of it, underpinning all those institutions are our worldviews, the collective way we see the world. And, the root cause of these problems ultimately is often the way we think. We suffer from short-termism. We discount costs to ourselves in the future, let alone the impacts on future generations. And linked to this, we suffer from egocentrism, where we see ourselves as isolated, discrete individuals. And that, we act more selfishly. When we can change our mindsets, our health and prosperity actually relies on us recognizing those interconnections. And that can prompt those positive behaviors, those pro-environmental behaviors, but it also cascades up and can transform those institutions, our political systems, economic justice systems as well.
OK, so bottom-up response. Well, many thanks, Tom Oliver, for coming on the programme.